I believe that if something is meant for you, the work that it takes to get to that point, most of it will not be hard. It will not be something that you feel like is taking you away from the life that you want to live. And I believe that you won't mind missing the sleep or missing the meals to get that work done. So lately, when it's been time for me to get in bed, unwind, go to sleep, I've been taking about 30 minutes to just lay down, practice some deep breathing, and think about things that are going on in my life or that went on today. And last night I had a memory just pop into my head, and it was a memory that I haven't thought about in a long time. This is something that happened when I was in elementary school. So when I was a kid in elementary school, I woke up one morning and I had a dream that night that I designed or invented some new shoe that was made out of paper, and it was something that nobody had ever done, and it was innovative and it was cheap, and I just thought people will love this. So as soon as I woke up that morning, I gathered a couple of my friends that I knew in the neighborhood, and I brought out some paper and some colored pencils, and I told them my idea, and we just got to work. Within about an hour or two, I had a couple of prototypes, and I had my friends critique their prototypes, and we went outside and we stood on the sidewalk and we waited for people to walk by. I don't know how long it took, but eventually this couple walked by and we told them what we were selling and what we invented, and they said, okay, how much? And thinking back on it, it is kind of funny because it was just, some paper shoes, but we said it's just $1, and that couple, they gave us $1, and we gave them a pair of shoes made out of paper. The main thing that I made a connection with in my head when I thought about that memory was the fact that even as a kid, when I was in elementary school, middle school, and even high school, whenever the teacher asked, write down or draw a picture of what you want to be when you grow up. And throughout pretty much my whole adolescence, I never had an idea of what I wanted to be. I didn't want to be an astronaut or a doctor or a vet. I just didn't have an idea of an occupation that I wanted to pursue. And looking back on that memory and knowing that pretty much throughout the entire beginning of my life, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up, I realized that my passion didn't lie in a career like the education system or the adults wanted the kids to believe was all that was ahead for us. It actually lied in creating and designing and building. And that's a very vague idea. And I think that's why as a kid, I couldn't pinpoint the exact thing that I wanted to do or be when I grew up. But now that I'm an adult, I'm realizing that I don't have to pick a career or an occupation. I can do what I'm passionate about. And I know for a lot of people, the things that we are passionate about is not something that is already a set career or a set occupation. And that can be very scary. But as I've grown, I've become more comfortable with this idea. As a kid, when we had that idea of what we wanted to be when we grew up or what we enjoyed doing, most of the time, money was not a big influence on that. Some kids wanted to be an astronaut or an artist or a writer or a magician, and money was not an influence in our interest in those things. But as we grew up, we realized how important money was in sustaining a stable lifestyle. So even though a lot of us had an idea of being one thing as a kid, as we grew up, we realized that that might not be something that will bring in a lot of money. And then our ideas of what we wanted to be changed, or we became insecure in what we actually wanted to do with our lives. And there's really three things that we can do with that understanding. We can either come to the conclusion that our passions will not make us enough money to sustain our lifestyle and just completely ignore our interest and pursue something else, or we can pursue something else as a career and do what we're passionate about on the side, or we can work very hard and be passionate about what we're interested in and force that into something that will actually provide a stable and livable income for ourselves. So I ask you, what do you personally feel like will be the path that is most fulfilling for your life? If you ask me personally, I believe that we all have a purpose and we all have a nature to us. As humans, I believe that we all want to create, build, and have a purpose that is innate to us personally. And if there's not a piece of us in our lives that is pursuing that thing that we're passionate about, that our nature really wants to pursue and live out, I believe that we'll just end up continuously living an unfulfilled unfulfilled life. You see people making loads of money in a career that they have really little to no interest in. You may see that they went to school for 4, 5, 6, 7 years and created this lifestyle around this career that really does not fulfill them. And a lot of the time, those people, you'll look back at all the work that they did to get to the point that they're at, and they struggled, had a hard time getting up in the morning, they had a hard time completing the work that they needed to do to get to the point that they're at. And to me, that is a sign that that is not what they were purposed to do. A popular thing that you'll see on social media is the motivational speakers and influencers saying, get the work done, push through it. You need to wake up early. Even when you don't feel like it, you need to do it. But in my own life, I've found that when I'm doing something that I'm actually passionate about and that is actually in tune with my nature, I don't have to think about doing the hard work. Like, the hard work is not hard work. The only time I feel like work is hard or difficult or I can't focus on it is when it's something that I'm not actually interested in. I believe that if something is meant for you, the work that it takes to get to that point, most of it will not be hard. It will not be something that you feel like is taking you away from the life that you want to live. And I believe that you won't mind missing the sleep or missing the meals to get that work done. Because personally, whenever I'm super interested in something, I'm waking up early to do it, I'm staying up late to do it, I'm forgetting to eat in order to get stuff done, and I'm actually enjoying it. So we can look at all the wealthiest people who have built their businesses from the ground up, and we can actually look into their history and their past and see that from an early age, they really had an interest in whatever they ended up doing. You might reference a Bill Gates or an Elon Musk or whoever and look at how little they slept or how little they ate and all the crazy hurdles that they hopped over and say, this is what you need to do if you want to succeed. You might say that, but the key difference is that they did those things because they wanted to. They did those things because they were passionate in what they were focused on. Most of the time, they didn't have to force their brain into making those decisions. It was just very natural for them. And of course, we all get to that point when, even though we're passionate in something, it might take a little extra courage or a little extra discipline to get some things done. That's not what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I'm saying, look at those activities and those interests that you can do, and you can find yourself missing sleep doing, you can find yourself losing time doing, you can find yourself waiting until you can get to the point where you can get back home or get back into this location so you can get this thing done. Look at those things and realize that that might be your natural path. That might be what you actually need to pursue if you want to feel fulfilled in life. There are millions of people on the internet doing millions of things, and we may see somebody doing one thing and think, man, I want to do that. Why don't I have the passion or the drive to do that thing like they do? And you hear the people saying, you just need to put your head down, just wake up early, just get the work done. It's hard work, but get it done. And really, the disconnect is that thing you're seeing that you think you want to do and that hard work that is going to take to get there, the disconnect is in the middle where that's not actually your passion. And since that's not your passion, that's not the road that you're meant to be on. So find what you're actually passionate in, get on that path, and don't feel like you're less than someone, whether it's your family telling you you need to do this or the influencers doing this and making X amount of money. Don't feel like you're less than simply because your passion may be different from what you think your passion should be or what your family thinks your passion should be. This is about your life, your nature, your path, and even if you want to split it up where you're in the career that you're in that you may not be passionate about, and after hours you're doing what you're extremely passionate about, I promise you, if you do that, you will feel a lot more fulfilled in life. Your hours will get lost in the time that you spend on that passion, and you may even find that the hours and the work that you put into that passion will bring you the income that you need to completely stop the activities in the career that you don't want to be in. So those are my thoughts on finding your passion and making time for your passion in order to live a more fulfilled life. Make sure you watch my last video where I explain a recent roadblock that led to me having a low drive and how I overcame that to get my drive back, and also how I stopped doing those bad habits that were keeping me away from my passions. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. All right, bye.